Might as well sit up front. You don't get the mic the whole time. I know, right?
Keeping an eye on. And Nancy.
So you want to be between Nancy and Mark? Wow,
Very free.
that is a privileged position. What a great position.
To order and welcome each of you to the June 21st meeting of the Tarrant County College District Board of Trustees. Any public comments, Mr. Gates? None. I would then ask for approval of the minutes of the meeting of May 17th, 2018. Motion to approve
So moved.
by Dr. Evans.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Any comments or additions or corrections? All those in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Trustee or committee reports. Dr. Patrick, we'll start with you.
Yes, I am very excited to announce that the TCC Southeast Campus, the Arlington Collegiate High School, has won 2 awards recently. One from U.S. News and World Report, which named the school a bronze level school, which was based on the academic standing of students. They had 28 students who finished a semester early and went on to UTA. So that they were recognized for that. And they were named a Texas Education Agency Texas Honor Roll School for 2015 and 2016-17 based on academic standing and hours of community service. We also had Northwest Campus, the Marine Creek Collegiate High School, awarded a bronze level school from U.S. News and World Report based on performance on state required tests and how well prepared the students are for college. So we're just really proud of these awards for all of you. Congratulations.
All right. Earlier this month, several hundreds of adults achieved a coveted milestone by completing their GED, and we were fortunate enough to attend and participate in that. Each one had a unique story, and you can see there, these are some photos from the graduation itself. There were some speakers there that talked about their experience or their path, and it was very, very moving to hear. Some of them had dropped out to help their family. Some of them had one of them was a new immigrant, and she had some language needs, and it was very, very interesting, but it was inspiring because they talked about how they persevered, they endured, and they completed their studies. Some of the graduates were from the Northwest Campus. There's some right there. There's a nice photo. Our graduates represented about 15% of all of those that were receiving their GEDs, so we're very, very proud of them. They're shown there being supported by some of the Northwest staff and the teacher there in the middle that helped them to prepare and pass the exam. So it was a very, very inspiring night. And I think overall we were just really glad to be able to witness it and to be able to see this new beginning. And Dr. Evans and also Ms. Appleman were there. I think they're going to share a little bit more.
Madam President, I was also able to be there, and that was an outstanding event. I think one of the other highlights, not only the fact that our students were gleeful, as they should have been, but to see the passion and the enthusiasm that is displayed on behalf of the teachers, the instructors themselves, as they were cheering the students along. And many of those students, of course, are building a bridge over to Tarrant County College itself. So I think that this is one of the finest things that we do in regard to reaching out into the community. So it's a good thing to be a part of, and I'm happy that we as a college are intricately involved in that effort. So it's good to be there. Thank you very much.
Thank you both for being there. If you think graduation across the street is a big deal, this is mini version of it, but the enthusiasm and celebration is not much less. And I came away thinking inside every one of those blue robes is a special story. These are people who have overcome unbelievable obstacles, and so we celebrate with them. And many of them will be joining us on a more permanent basis, I think. Dr. Morrison?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you this week. This has been a very busy week in the community. South Campus was host to the Juneteenth Fort Worth celebration that was 4 days and was very successful, and brought a myriad of people to the campus to become acquainted with the facilities as well as to celebrate Juneteenth. I also participated about a week ago in a conference for 300 young girls ages 6 to 17, and it's a mentoring and leadership program. It was an all-day conference, and for both the girls and the mothers, for many of them it was their first time on campus, so they were very excited. Earlier this week, I participated in the inaugural Irma Johnson Hadley Juneteenth Honors Banquet, which was hosted by Trinity River Campus, and it was very well attended. A lot of leaders from across the city and the state were there, as well as Mrs. Johnson's daughter, Ardenia, and granddaughter came to accept the award. So it was a great event. A lot of people were there, always impressed with our wonderful facilities. Our staff was very warm and greeting, and I was very happy to participate. Thank you.
Mr. Greenhill?
I should report that the trustee organization, the statewide trustee organization, CCATT, held its annual meeting here in Fort Worth, June the 1st through the 3rd. It was a very, very successful event. There were about 150 trustees attended, and we heard speakers, and we had breakout sessions to talk about various issues. I appreciate the support of the administration, the TCCD administration, and the board of directors, our trustees, for our support. Our in-house counsel, Angela Robinson, was a part of a breakout session on campus safety, which was very well attended, very, very well attended. It was a big issue. I became chair of the organization this year, and I'm very happy to do so. I was the chair-elect and will be the chair for 2 years. And my first task, I will be going to Austin on Monday to attend the final meeting of the joint legislative committee of the trustee organization, the professional organization, the TACC, and the public school organization, in combining our efforts to have a joint legislative agenda, and that will be coming out soon. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Evans, do you have anything else?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to add one other thing, too. I needed to give just accolades to one of our staff members from the Southeast Campus, Ms. Nita Halliburton. On June 19th, she coordinated a huge event at the Globe Life Park on behalf of the Arlington Black Chamber of Commerce. There were over 300 individuals there, and again, Tarrant County College was behind that in regard to her leadership, and it was just an outstanding event. So I wanted to say that it is good to see our college engaged in the community like the college is, and again, that's part of our 8 principles. So just needed to say that was outstanding, and she helped to lead that effort.
Good, thank you. Northeast had quite an elaborate Juneteenth celebration, too. Did a lot of music and dance and literature, very inspiring.
Couldn't be every place at once.
I know it. Mr. Greenhill, you were going to share a newspaper article featuring Dr. Evans.
The newspaper article, thank you, is about a distinguished Dr. Michael Evans, and he participated in a conference of leaders in Dallas, I believe, by the Catholic Charities, and there's a picture of him in the paper. He was supporting efforts to help immigrant children who are separated from their parents to get help. And we're very, very proud of this for his participation in this. There's a lot going on. The Bar Association sent out a thing today about what lawyers are beginning to do. So there's a lot of support for helping our immigrant children stay with their families. And we're proud of our Dr. Evans for participating in that effort.
Anything else? I have just a couple of things. I hope some of you got a chance to see this. We were the only higher education institution featured in a pullout of the local newspaper dedicated to high school graduates. And I thought this was a particularly attractive and informative ad. This is what college looks like. And we were the only college or university featured. And then this is the Association of Community Colleges, and look who's on the cover. And he didn't know I was going to do that, so I'll probably lose my job here. But
Point of order.
along with Dr. May of Dallas, and the article is quite good about how both of the institutions work in the community to prepare our students and be prepared for our students. So thank you for representing us well. All right. We will continue starting with item number 5, the consent agenda. 2 items. I would ask approval of the consideration and approval of Encore Multifamily LLC Panther Island Development Sanitary Sewer Easement, and consideration and approval of Heritage Alliance lease termination and landlord access agreements. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Dr. Patrick, seconded by Dr. Evans. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? And now Dr. LeBlanc is going to call on some of her colleagues to help her present the Active Learning Academy, Powerful Teaching, Powerful Learning.
Good evening, Mrs. Appleman, board members, and Dr. Giovannini. Thank you for this opportunity. So we have 2 individuals here, Dr. Lee Grimes, Executive Director of the Center for Teaching and Learning, and Dr. Jeff Herr, Associate Professor of Education, who will be giving the presentation. Dr. Herr is representing faculty from all of the campuses. Please help me welcome them.
Thank you so much, Dr. LeBlanc. Thank you, Dr. Giovannini, Mrs. Appleman, board members. We're very, very pleased to have the opportunity to talk to you today a little bit about our Active Learning Academy, where we believe that powerful teaching results in powerful learning. And so today we want to share with you a little bit about the goals of the Active Learning Academy, why we chose an active learning model as our preferred method of instruction, a little bit about the faculty experience, and then some next steps that we have planned. It was important to us as we prepared the Active Learning Academy, which was our first cohort of this. So this was our first time that we launched this academy, that we not only provide faculty with active learning strategies for their instruction, but that we also model that 3 goals and 8 principles mindset. And so we came to it with a one college approach. We had faculty from all 6 campuses participate, which was very exciting. And together, we really focused on that student-ready college mindset. So we were developing strategies that really helped to inform that for our faculty. And we were so fortunate to have such an incredible group of faculty, which you'll hear a little bit about this evening, that they have really been able to provide some insight and some participation in one of our principles, the Integrated Instructional Learning Environments Principle. And they were able to present at the Learning Symposium and to help serve as work team members. So it's been really, really great. This is a picture of our first cohort of that Active Learning Academy, and again, this is comprised of faculty from across the district from a wide range of disciplines. So that's a really exciting point of synergy that we're very glad to tell you about. So to give you some insight into why we chose the active learning model and to share with you a little bit about our faculty experience, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Jeff Herr. Jeff.
Thank you, Dr. Grimes. Thank you, Dr. LeBlanc. Chancellor Giovannini, thank you. Mrs. Appleman, members of the board, and all those present here today. I'm Jeff Herr, Associate Professor of Teacher Education at South Campus, but I am representing the faculty of the first cohort of the Active Learning Academy that was district-wide. So, first question that we have, why an active learning model? Well, based on the advertisement from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, it's not what college looks like. So I saw those pictures too. Well, lecturing is a traditional model of teaching and learning. And how did it start? Well, it originally started out as a way to dictate and duplicate religious texts by authority figures from a church. Printing press came around from Gutenberg, and that method of lecturing still remained, though. And it's one-dimensional, but it was still there because it gave lecturers a platform to interpret and convey the content the way that authorities see fit. But it's not necessarily active for today's engaged students that we have. So experts are suggesting that we create a more active, interactive classes. And employers, as you know, are also looking for the end result to have those 4 C's: collaborative communication, creativity, critical thinking, and care. And active learning is that vehicle that takes you to that avenue for critical thinking especially. So that's a goldfish. It's not mine. I think it is Dr. Grimes, though. But that goldfish is up there to emphasize brain-based learning and what we know about human attention spans today, and including our students, about 8 seconds on average, which the goldfish is up there to indicate that they may average about 9 seconds. That could be a potential problem. Right? So, educational researcher Shannon Bowman indicates that the brain quickly learns to ignore anything that's routine, repetitive, predictable, or just plain boring, and a goldfish can attest that they can do things a little bit better sometimes. Now, there's a mountain of research, and you can see some of the researchers up here that support active learning as a model for student success. So those are just a few, okay, of the many. I want to talk a little bit in my time about the faculty experience in the ALA, the Active Learning Academy here. So we had a vision and a purpose. Our vision was to increase student success by having a more interactive, integrative teaching model that potentially transforms students at TCC. So our purpose was to take faculty throughout the district, empower them to create professional learning communities within their own campuses using an active framework. So it was a year-long cohort. We started in mid-September. We went to late April. Faculty had to apply to participate throughout the district. And so once accepted, we used active learning strategies each time we met to enhance student learning. Now, these strategies came directly from our collaborative partnership with Jobs for the Future. And they centered around 6 high-impact strategies that are not revolutionary, but are workable. And so here the strategies are. Collaborative group work, classroom talk, questioning, scaffolding, literacy groups, and writing to learn. Over on the side there, you'll see a book that I have edited in the last year that deals specifically with classroom talk and questioning. So it's called The Value of Academic Discourse, Conversations That Mattered. I edited that with my colleague from Texas Wesleyan University, the late Dr. Twyla Miranda. Now, here's what happened in the fall semester when we met, starting in September. We focused on the faculty as learners. So we were students of students, as John Dewey proposed we be. So we took these active learning strategies, those 6 that I showed you, and we learned about them. We implemented them in our own classrooms, and then we came back to the academy, and we discussed them with our peers of how we were successful or what we could be doing differently. Now, in the spring semester, We didn't focus on the strategies as much as we did observational rounds within our own campuses where we went into actual professors' classes from the academy, and we were looking at student engagement based on the learning activity, active learning model that we learned about. So we were doing very low inference, non-evaluative data that we were gathering, looking at students, how they were engaged based on the strategies that we learned. So if you wouldn't mind looking at the video monitors, we've got some faculty testimonials from the cohort who are going to share with you some of their thoughts.
I'm able to apply the techniques right away in my classroom. So I'm not learning something in paper and not be able to apply it. But here I'm learning the technique as I would apply in my classroom.
For me, I teach speech communication, so my classes tend to be very heavily discussion-based, and we do a lot of active learning techniques already. For me, this was super beneficial in giving me a structure or a framework with which to set those up and be intentional about. And I believe that that was the key in connecting the activity to the student learning objectives. So that has been really, really helpful in my classroom, and I think it's going to have a lot of good positive effects in the future as well for my students.
I think my students have really benefited from my participation in the Active Learning Academy because I'm more aware of student learning and how they are processing information and how I'm delivering information to them.
So coming here is going to make you feel energetic and feel back and be passionate about bringing the energy back into classroom. So that's my big takeaway.
My students love the classroom talk. It really enabled them to develop their own voice, how to articulate their ideas in a classroom and in an academic setting.
But it was rewarding because you were able to not just be exposed to the theory, you were also able to practice that through the rounds and interact with other faculty that we usually don't get to.
So you can see we had some pretty active and engaged faculty who participated in this and really gave deep thought to how they could connect the information that they were learning in the academy to their students in their classroom and continually improve their practice. And I think that's what's so exceptional about this is that these were already excellent faculty, high-performing faculty who were looking for ways to increase that focus on student success and really meeting students where they are. This is our graduating cohort, that first cohort of graduates as we celebrated the long year of work that they did together. And you know, it really highlights some of those benefits that we found in bringing this group together. For one thing, as you heard in the video, this allowed faculty from across the district who might not otherwise have interacted very frequently, or certainly about anything more than, hello, how are you, it's good to see you, you know, but to really have that opportunity to talk about the thing that was most important to them, which is honing their teaching practice so that they could really reach the students in their class. They were able to develop those communities of practice focused around those strategies. And they get to serve as exemplars of active learning. They were passionate faculty advocates for student learning. And so because of that, they're going to be able to serve as coaches and mentors for our next cohort of Active Learning Academy participants. And they'll really also have the opportunity to take a deep dive into looking at the data. Because as important as professional development is, it really matters when you can show that this is actually having a real impact in the classroom and that students are truly benefiting, that this is moving the needle of student success and retention. Now, based on all the research that we've seen and that we've conducted in other environments, we know that this really can and really does have a real impact on student learning. But we want to take a look at the data from these participants. We want to see how this changes and increases their engagement and the success of their students. And so by doing that, it gives us the opportunity and the justification to think about scaling this up college-wide and to encourage the continual spin-off of communities of practice, because this is the meat of what we do as faculty and as professionals in a community college, is that we have the opportunity to look for ways that truly positively impact student learning and build our activities around it. So we are truly grateful for this opportunity to give you just a little snippet of some of the information that really creates such a passionate community of faculty at Tarrant County College, and we're so fortunate to have such wonderful folks to work with because they really do care and they really are willing to put the effort and the time and the energy into improving the lives of our students. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Great presentation. I have a question for you. Will you explain what scaffolding is?
Yes.
I'm going to turn this over to.
Absolutely, Dr. Evans. So scaffolding works, we all come into a situation, a subject matter with prior knowledge, with a body of knowledge that we bring in, okay? And so scaffolding works with a collaborative effort where students, faculty bounce ideas off each other. We take all these different avenues into account rather than just a two-way street between professor, instructor, and student. It's all peer involved, and so we're building on top of that prior knowledge with all the evidence and information from lots of different people instead of just one or two. That's how scaffolding works, in a nutshell.
How do you keep the, you're going to have obviously more than one cohort. Is this going to be, you think, permanent, or how do you keep the momentum going on? This is a marvelous project.
Thank you so much.
It's the future. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity. And, you know, the great thing is it doesn't take a lot of selling from me. This is something that the faculty are passionate about to begin with. This is why they're here. This is why they've chosen this profession. So this doesn't take any kind of selling at all. This is an opportunity for them to come together and talk about the things that they care about the most. And so it really is a vehicle for that continual improvement, that curiosity, that sense of passion, and it brings out the scholars in our faculty, and so that they're really able to study what works and implement, practice, bring each other into their classrooms to observe student learning taking place, going back, reflecting, thinking about it, continues that loop so that we're really acting as true professionals and true exemplars in this profession. So
when do you start your next cohort?
We're going to start mid-September. So,
September,
yeah,
and keep going. Okay.
Thank you.
Are the participants invited or assigned by their campuses, or how do you gather your group?
Well, we have asked for them to apply to be part of this group because we want people who are serious, who understand that there's a commitment, that this doesn't just happen easily, right? This is something that you really work at. And so we want people who are at the right time in their career to focus on this and to bring their best selves to the work. So far it's been by application. So.
And you mentioned data. How do you collect your data?
Well, we established a partnership very, very quickly with our fabulous institutional research team before we ever launched the Academy, because it was important for us to have that partnership in place so that we would be able to track this information throughout the life cycle. There are different stages in this. You know, anytime you think about a golf player maybe changing their swing, or any kind of person who's really good at something, when they try to improve and get even better, you imagine, okay, how is this gonna work? How are we gonna see dips? Are we gonna see, increases? How is this gonna happen? And so it's really important for us to understand that entire cycle and to really provide the support and the encouragement and the coaching and the cheerleading for our faculty as they go through this process and they really explore their talents and where they can improve their strengths and really be there for our students. So yes, we definitely partner with our institutional research folks, and they have been fabulous in helping us to design the appropriate evaluation methods.
So tell us a little bit about the time, commitment, and investment that was required for the faculty to participate.
Well, we met several times. We met about seven times during
6 in the fall, right?
Plus the kickoff. So during the fall semester, and then during the spring semester.
Roughly every other Friday.
Yeah. For about 3.5 hours.
At the Center for Teaching and Learning.
Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty significant commitment, because not only did they have to work in the actual sessions, but then they would go back and do work on their campuses, implement these programs or these strategies into the classroom, and then bring that back and discuss. And that's where a lot of the power is.
So that's the students of students process that we were involved in.
And that was the fall. In the spring, there was actually, they had to go to great effort to go into each other's classrooms and observe the student learning taking place, and meet before those observations and meet after those observations to debrief. And they did that a couple of times during the semester, and then of course bring that back together with our entire academy. So it was pretty significant.
Thank you so much. We're
Thank you.
just so
Appreciate the opportunity to share.
appreciative. Admire the work that you're doing, and I know our students are benefiting. All right, we will get into the business of approval of recommendations from the staff. And Gary Prather is here tonight on behalf of Mrs. Petty, who's taking a trip to her homeland. And we'll start with item number 8, consideration and approval of job order contracting agreement Chambers Engineering to provide water system upgrades on Northwest Campus in the amount of $322,473.25. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill.
Second.
Second by Dr. Evans. Mr. Prather?
Yes, these upgrades will provide redundancy and better potable water quality for the Fire Service Center.
And we, for those of you who might be new to us, we have been through this agenda and each of these items in great detail, and he's getting off easy tonight. Miss Petty had to spend longer minutes with us. But are there any additional questions or considerations from the board? All right, we have a motion on the table to approve and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 9, consideration and approval of job order contracting agreement with Chambers Engineering to provide Central Plaza site improvements on Northeast Campus in the amount of $486,464.94. Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Ayala, seconded by Dr. Evans. Mr. Prather?
Yes, this supports the campus character and compliance.
Compliance is a good word.
Is a good word.
Any questions of Mr. Prather? Comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, consideration and approval of job order contracting agreement with Chambers Engineering to provide site improvements at the district's Riverside Multipurpose Center in the amount of $336,733.69. Motion to approve.
So move.
Dr. Evans.
Second.
Second by Mr. Greenhill. Mr. Prather?
Yes, this is another compliance issue, and it also gives fueling stations to support the district fleet stationed at Riverside, and that's in a total of about 35 to 40 vehicles.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 11, consideration and approval of BuyBoard cooperative agreement with Sunbelt Pools to provide swimming pool water treatment system upgrades at Northwest, South, Northeast, and Southeast Campus Natatoriums in the amount of $194,289. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill. Second, Ms. Ayala.
I'm the swimmer.
Mr. Prather.
And this is for a more economical way to provide water quality and reduces the chemical usage on the pools.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Mr. Ragu, item number 12, consideration and approval of purchase PLATO courseware from Edmentum in the amount of $162,850. Motion to approve. Ms. Ayala.
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Evans. Mr. Ragu.
As referenced earlier with our recent GED graduates, this is one of the resources used successfully, one of the many resources used successfully by our faculty to utilize during that curriculum.
Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, consideration and approval of purchase Elsevier Spring 2020 Nursing Examination Preparation in the amount of $114,787.50. Motion to approve.
So move.
Dr. Evans. Ms. Ayala seconds it. Mr. Ragu.
This is a resource offered to our students for online test prep software for the NCLEX exam for the 150 student spring 2020 cohort in our nursing program.
Questions, comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, consideration and approval of purchase VMWare ELA one-year licensing agreement in the amount of $158,126.21. 21 cents. Did you round it off?
We tried.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill.
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Evans. Mr. Ragu.
This is a critical component of the infrastructure that supports all of the applications and a lot of the virtualized desktops that are used in our labs across the entire district.
Questions, comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 15, consideration and approval of renewal E-Procurement system from JAGGAER, formerly SciQuest Marketplace, in the amount of $792,231 for a 5-year renewal. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill.
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Evans. Mr. Ragu.
This is the workflow tool, for lack of a better term, that allows for our procurement group to offer a lot more flexibility and ease around the approval process of purchasing items, allows for self-service for users across the college to be able to purchase items, as well as it offers a lot of insight in terms of reporting, things that we didn't have in the past. This is for a 5-year renewal of this software.
Questions, comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16, consideration and approval of purchase antivirus solution in the amount of $186,970. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Dr. Evans. Second, Dr. Morrison. Mr. Ragu, I know your comments need to be limited on this one. It's a security issue.
Sure. This is, as it states, the purchase of an antivirus solution to serve the entire district.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 17, consideration and approval of purchase campus routers lifecycle switch, replacement and intra-campus malware control devices in the amount of $324,874.30. Motion by Ms. Ayala, seconded by Dr. Morrison. Mr. Ragu.
This is to replace approximately 20% of another piece of critical infrastructure that runs the network across all of our district.
Questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 18, consideration and approval of purchase LyndaCampus Higher Education Online Courseware Library in the amount of $232,392. Motion to approve.
So,
Second.
Dr. Evans.
yes, ma'am.
And
So
I
moved.
seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Questions, comments? Mr. Ragu, you want to talk a little bit about this one?
Sure. This is a content library with supplemental courseware that students can access, as well as faculty and staff, that offers a lot of resources that supplement the curriculum that they might be taking. It's been, in the 1 year that it's been in use, 440 certificates of completion of these courses have been awarded. So it's certainly a very well-utilized resource by our students.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 19 is another security issue, consideration and approval of purchase of information security program in the amount of $426,241.65.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Morrison, seconded by Dr. Evans. Anything you want to say more about this?
This is for several items that will make up for part of our information security infrastructure.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 20, Dr. LeBlanc, consideration and approval of agreement with Edfinancial Services to provide financial aid call center and financial aid verification processing, excuse me, in the amount of $714,014. And you see that broken down into $546,550 for calls and $167,464 for verification. Motion to approve.
So
Second.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Dr. Evans. Dr. LeBlanc, do you want to
Yes, this is
comment
simply
on this
to continue to outsource our financial aid call center and financial aid verification processing. The financial aid calls will take place during the normal operating hours as well as the common weekend hours. And approval will allow us to continue providing the service with no interruption.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Dr. McClendon?
Good evening. This is our highlights from the month of May's financial. Total income of 356 budget versus a 337 actual. We're sitting on 94 point, nearly 95%. We've received most of our tax money and everything, so nothing unusual to report on our revenue. Our total expenses are 356 mil versus 237. We're looking at 71.1% expended versus a budget of 75%. There's nothing to report on our expenses. On our investments, our pools decreased by 19.5 mil. That's when we start using our money to support our operations. No activity on our short term, no activity on our agencies. Our total portfolio decreased, as mentioned before, 19.1 mil, giving us an ending balance of 361 mil. Our yield is 1.78. Our WAM is 354 days. And just as a note of comment, we have included in your packets the May report on our investments at the district's investments on the foundation. Questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Giovannini?
Thank you, Mrs. Appleman. Often when I speak in the community, I've tried to be thematic as it relates to the good work that all of you do and our value and the return on investment and such, and really try to couch us and position us in a manner in which that, yes, we can be just about all things to all people. We provide a lot of value to this community. Whether you're interested in economic prosperity and capitalism, or you want to champion equity and equality for the underserved or those who are impoverished, we are there to serve both of those. And I'm very happy to, ironically, just to talk about a couple of events just this month, which that came back to us in terms of being expressed back to us. One of which was the Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce had their annual luncheon and focused on, at their annual luncheon, their new strategic plan called Fortify. And as part of explaining the value of Fortify and the activities with it, they invited Chris Lloyd from the McGuire Group out of Richmond, Virginia, to speak as their keynote. No shorter than 4 or 5 times did Chris talk about community colleges and the value of community colleges. Not once did he use the word university. So I'll stop there.
Our table was just...
Yeah, so it's nice when some expert from 50 miles away comes in and tells the reality. And so hopefully, and we're involved in Fortify, we participate in Fortify. So I think it was a real clear message as it relates to the significant role that we will play, need to play, in the economic vitality, economic impact or pursuit in the county. Second, on the other side, just Monday, Dr. Ben Carson, Secretary of HUD, was here visiting. Oh, I didn't know that was going on. All right. I wasn't lecturing him there. But, yeah. And he talked about a program that it's an initial program. There's so far only 2 in the country that have been announced, one in Detroit a couple weeks ago and just Monday in Fort Worth. And it's called Envision. And the Envision project is emphasis to assist, help, guide those in HUD housing, out of HUD housing, into more sustainable housing, to participate equally in the job market. So it was the effort is to bring together a variety of community services organizations that would partner, come together, and really strategize around and deliver, that's the bottom line, is to deliver services to this population. And so Fort Worth was the second one selected. Now, interestingly, here, he had did a little speech and a little press conference, and then 17 of us had an opportunity at a round table with him. And to his left is Beth Van Dyne, who is the regional director of HUD, and she called on me first to give some comments. And so, 17 people around there, and then we didn't have much more than 45, 50 minutes. It kept it very brief as it relates to what we do. When the other 16 spoke, over half of them talked about TCC. So the significant, and we have a lot of relationships, and I know a lot of you know the people that are sitting around that table. So our relationship with those entities certainly was loud and clear, and it got a little bit comical after a while because we were mentioned so often. And again, like the first effort I mentioned with the Chamber was about economic prosperity. This is about, in large part, helping those who've been underserved or disadvantaged in some way. So the message, again, that we are trying to convey out there as to the value that we provide, two great examples in which that message was given back to us. Thank you.
Thank you, and for your extracurricular time in the community representing us. It is important. And that group of people, everyone knows about us and everyone sort of takes us for granted. So it's nice to be able to remind them of our value to the community, and we appreciate you doing that. Any other business to come before the board? And we're not having a closed meeting, so guess what? We are adjourned. Thank you. See you. The next governance meeting is July 12th, and the next boarding meeting July 19th.